You've seen us dissect the mighty burger. You watched us tear into every sandwich imaginable. You were right there with us when we broke down every cut of steak on the planet. But today? Today, we are tackling the Holy Grail, the ultimate comfort food, the great culinary equalizer. I am talking about pizza. Now, ask 100 people what makes the perfect pizza, and you're going to get 100 different, completely passionate, and probably angry answers. Is it a thin, crackly crust? Is it a mountain of gooey cheese baked in a cast-iron pan? Does pineapple belong on it? Hold that thought. We're going to get into that dangerous territory later. In this video, we are traveling across the globe, from the ancient cobblestone streets of Naples to the busy avenues of New York, from the Motor City of Detroit to the sunny shores of California. We are breaking down the history, the science, the crust, the sauce, and the soul of every major pizza style on Earth. By the time this video is over, you won't just know how to order a pizza, you'll know the exact chemistry and history behind what you're eating. So, hit that subscribe button, grab a napkin to wipe the drool off your screen, and let's dive in. This is Every Pizza Explained. To understand the universe of pizza, we have to start at the Big Bang. And the Big Bang of pizza happened in Naples, Italy. Let's talk about Neapolitan pizza. This isn't just a pizza, it's a protected cultural artifact. Literally. The Associazione Verace Pizza Napoletana has strict rules. You can't just make a pizza and call it Neapolitan. The dough must be made with highly refined Italian type 0 or 00 wheat flour, Neapolitan yeast, salt, and water. No oil, no sugar. The oven has to be wood-fired, hitting temperatures of 800 to 900 degrees Fahrenheit. The pizza is in there for a mere 60 to 90 seconds. That is insanely fast. What you get is a crust that is incredibly soft, elastic, tender, and fragrant, with those beautiful, slightly bitter black blisters we call leopard spotting. But here's the controversial opinion. Neapolitan pizza is not a walking-around food. The center is famously wet, almost soupy. The fresh mozzarella releases moisture. The San Marzano tomatoes are juicy. You eat this with a knife and fork, my friends. Do I love it? Absolutely. But if I want a slice on the go, this isn't it. Next, we travel north to Rome for Pizza al Taglio, which translates to pizza by the cut. If Neapolitan is the strict, traditional grandfather, Roman pizza is the cool, laid-back cousin. It's baked in large rectangular pans and sold by weight. You walk into a shop, point to the massive sheet of pizza, show them with your fingers how big of a slice you want, and they cut it with scissors. The dough is highly hydrated, meaning it has a lot of water in it, and it's fermented for a long time. The result? A crust that is incredibly airy, light, and digestible on the inside, but with a serious, shattering crunch on the bottom. It holds up perfectly to heavy, creative toppings, think potatoes and rosemary, or massive slices of mortadella. Question for you guys. Would you rather have a soft, wet Neapolitan pie you have to eat with a fork, or a crispy, airy Roman slice cut with scissors? Let me know in the comments, because honestly, I'm leaning towards Rome on this one. And before we leave Italy, we have to mention Sicilian pizza, or sfincione. This is a thick, spongy, focaccia-like dough. Traditional sfincione doesn't use standard mozzarella. It usually features a robust tomato sauce, heavily fortified with onions, anchovies, oregano, and strong sheep's milk cheese, often with a layer of breadcrumbs on top to soak up. The olive oil. It is rustic, peasant food at its absolute finest, and it is the direct ancestor of some of America's favorite styles. When Italian immigrants arrived in the United States in the late 19th and early 20th centuries, they brought their pizza recipes with them. But they didn't have the same ingredients. Ovens were different. Flour was different. And out of this adaptation, the American pizza empires were born. Enter the New York-style pizza. This is the slice that conquered the world. It evolved from Neapolitan pizza, but instead of small, wood-fired ovens, early New Yorkers used the massive, high-heat coal ovens originally built for baking bread. Because American flour has a higher gluten and protein content, the dough became sturdier, chewier, and capable of being stretched much larger. You guys know the rule. You have to fold a New York slice. If you eat a New York slice flat, you're doing it wrong. The fold creates a structural beam. It keeps the tip from flopping, it funnels the glorious orange grease-infused tomato sauce directly into your mouth, and it keeps the dry, low-moisture mozzarella cheese perfectly contained. It is the ultimate street food. It is fast, cheap, and undeniably iconic. But while New York went wide and thin, the Midwest went deep and thick. Chicago deep dish. Listen, this is where the comments section usually turns into a war zone. The New Yorkers will scream, "That's not pizza, that's a casserole." And they kind of have a point, but I don't care. Because it's delicious. Deep dish is an architectural marvel. It's baked in a deep, round steel pan heavily oiled with oil or butter. The dough is pushed up the sides, creating a tall edge. But here's the crazy part. The ingredients are inverted. Because this pizza takes 30 to 45 minutes to bake, if you put the cheese on top, it would burn into a blackened rock. So, the cheese goes on the bottom, right against the crust. Then comes a massive, solid disc of raw Italian sausage. And finally, the top is smothered in a chunky, sweet, crushed tomato sauce. It is a commitment. You don't eat deep dish as a snack, you eat it as an event. It's rich, it's buttery, often thanks to cornmeal or food coloring in the crust that gives it that yellow hue, and it is incredibly heavy. But wait, the Midwest has another heavyweight contender, and in my humble opinion, it is the best pan pizza in the world. Detroit-style pizza. Born in the Motor City, this pizza was originally baked in the blue steel rectangular pans used as drip trays for auto parts in the car factories. The crust is thick, similar to a Sicilian, but it's incredibly light and airy on the inside. But the magic, the absolute sorcery of Detroit style, is the frico. Detroit style doesn't use regular mozzarella, it uses Wisconsin brick cheese, which is fattier and melts beautifully. You spread that cheese all the way to the edges of the pan. As it bakes, the cheese slides down the side of the dough, directly against the hot steel, frying into a crispy, caramelized, lacy edge of burnt cheese perfection. The sauce goes on after the bake, painted on in 2 or 3 racing stripes down the length of the pizza. It is crunchy, fluffy, rich, and tangy all at once. If you haven't had authentic Detroit style, drop whatever you are doing and go find one right now. So, we've covered the giants. The most famous iteration is the white clam pie, invented by Frank Pepe. Fresh little neck clams, immense amounts of garlic, oregano, olive oil, and grated pecorino romano. No tomato sauce, and traditionally, no mozzarella cheese. It is a briny, garlicky, chewy masterpiece that tastes like the ocean in the best way possible. Now, let's fly out to Missouri for the most polarizing pizza on this list. St. Louis style. I guarantee you, unless you grew up in St. Louis, you will probably think this is very strange. First, the crust has no yeast. None. It is a cracker. It crunches like a potato chip. Second, it is cut into a grid of small squares, known as the party cut or tavern cut. But the wildest part? The cheese. They don't use mozzarella, they use Provel. Provel is a processed cheese product native to St. Louis, a combination of cheddar, Swiss, and provolone. It has a smoky flavor and a very distinct, almost sticky, liquid plastic melt. It coats the roof of your mouth. People in St. Louis will defend Provel with their lives. The rest of the country? We are deeply confused by it. What do you guys think? Does processed cheese belong on pizza? Let the debate rage below. Next up, the culinary rebels on the West Coast. California-style pizza. Invented in the early 1980s by chefs like Ed Ledoux and Wolfgang Puck, this style isn't about the dough or the oven. It's about the toppings. California style took the classic thin crust and treated it like a blank canvas for high-end cuisine. This is the birthplace of the Bubak chicken pizza, the Thai chicken pizza. Pizzas with smoked salmon, creme fraiche, and caviar. It completely shattered the rules of what was allowed on a pizza. The purists hated it, but it paved the way for the artisanal, gourmet pizza movement we see in every trendy restaurant today. But pizza isn't just an Italian or American thing anymore. The concept of flatbread with stuff on it is universal, and when other cultures adopted pizza, they made it their own. In the country of Georgia, you have khachapuri. Is it technically pizza? Maybe not by the strictest definition, but it hits all the same emotional chords. It's a boat-shaped dough, filled to the brim with a mixture of tart Sulguni cheese. Just before it finishes baking, they crack a raw egg into the center and add a massive pat of butter. You tear the crust off the edges and stir the runny yolk, melting butter and molten cheese together into a rich, decadent dip. It is life-changing. Over in Turkey and Armenia, there is lahmacun, a super thin, round piece of dough topped with minced meat, usually beef or lamb, minced vegetables, and herbs including onions, garlic, tomatoes, red peppers, and parsley. It's baked quickly, sprinkled with lemon juice, rolled up like a wrap, and eaten on the street. No cheese at all, but incredible depth of flavor. And in Japan, pizza gets wild. Seafood is hugely popular: squid, shrimp, crab. But the most distinct Japanese addition? A heavy, artistic drizzle of sweet Japanese mayonnaise right on top of the pie, often paired with corn and potatoes. To an American palate, it sounds chaotic, but the sweet, creamy fat of the mayo actually balances the saltiness of the cheese and seafood brilliantly. The Hawaiian pizza: ham, cheese, tomato sauce, and pineapple. First of all, let's get the facts straight. Hawaiian pizza was not invented in Hawaii. It was invented in 1962 in Ontario, Canada, by a Greek immigrant named Sam Panopoulos. He just threw canned pineapple on a pizza to see what would happen, naming it after the brand of canned pineapple he used. The culinary argument for it is actually sound. It's the classic flavor profile of sweet and savory, salt and acid. It's the same reason we eat prosciutto with melon, or pork chops with applesauce. The sweet, acidic burst of the pineapple cuts through the heavy, fatty, salty cheese and pork. But people don't eat with logic. They eat with their hearts. The texture of hot, wet fruit on bread offends millions of people on a visceral level. So I have to ask you, right now, to declare your allegiance. Are you Team Pineapple, or do you believe Sam Panopoulos committed a culinary crime? Put it in the comments. I'll give you my opinion. I think a really well-made Hawaiian pizza with fresh pineapple that has been caramelized and spicy jalapenos added for heat is actually a top-tier pizza. Yeah, I said it. From the blazing hot wood ovens of Naples to the deep iron pans of Detroit, from the cracker crusts of St. Louis to the cheese boats of Georgia, pizza is more than just a recipe. It is a living, breathing testament to human ingenuity. It is an edible history of migration, adaptation, and our universal love for melted cheese and carbs. There is no such thing as the perfect pizza, because the perfect pizza is whatever slice you grew up with, whatever slice brings you comfort after a long day, or whatever slice you're sharing with your friends right now. If you loved this deep dive into the world of pizza, please absolutely smash that like button, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss our next Everything Explained video. And seriously, let me know in the comments, what is your hometown pizza style? And what is your ultimate desert island pizza topping combination? Until next time, keep eating, keep exploring, and never ever eat a New York slice with a fork. See ya, and always stay hungry.